Hey everybody, it's Ron Jackson, and welcome to my new series just discussing different kinds of improvisational techniques with no editing or anything like that, me just playing and talking just like a workshop. I've been doing a lot of stuff on TikTok and Instagram, and where they're really short videos trying to get to a point, but there's only certain things you can actually do in such a short amount of time, especially on TikTok when it's only 1 minute. So today we're going to be talking about blues, and particularly about the dominant 7th chords and all the possible reharmonizations for a dominant 7th chord. In jazz, we like to reharmonize everything and think of things in a different way instead of the one chord that we're playing on. So there's so many different ways to look at a chord and the melody, and how to improvise actually over the chord. So I want to make this a very laid-back kind of workshop kind of feel for you guys that are watching, and you know, nothing's more important than actually studying with somebody and learning about this. Teacher really helps you with this kind of stuff. So it's very important, you know, to watch this video. But if you're having you know, issues about learning this stuff and getting it together, you have to actually study with a teacher, or you know, play a lot and with other people to judge how you are, you know, how your level is compared to what you think it is. And you can, the best judge actually is actually recording yourself. So it's great to actually record yourself and get your stuff together like that, because you can, the recording never lies. And I can, even when I'm filming now, you know, I can make a little gibberish notes. I mean, you know, things with my voice. I can always fix that. And you can actually fix the recordings too. And I'm very, when I'm in the studio recording, I mean, you know, I'm very, what's the word, you know, nitpicky about my playing. So it's very important to be able to, you know, record yourself and get this stuff together too. So let's get started. So I was playing over an F blues, okay, just a minute ago in the intro, just messing around, you know, doing some reharmonizations and stuff. Now, when I'm playing in an F blues, there's so many things I can actually think about when I'm actually playing an F blues. So, just a regular jazz F blues has an F dominant in the beginning. So on that one F7 chord, I could play so many scales, and I could think so many different ways about it. So first, you should know that an F7 chord takes a dominant 7th scale, which is this scale. I'm not going to spell out the notes, okay? But you should know this scale. It's just a flatted, it's a major scale with a flatted 7. You should know that scale. That's one scale that you can actually use on F7. The next scale you can actually use on an F7 chord or any blues is the blues scale. Well, actually, let's do the minor pentatonic first. So the minor pentatonic. Now, I'm just playing in this one position, but you should be able to play these scales all over the neck. You know, like, you should be able to play these all over the place. So that's the dominant 7th scale. The minor pentatonic, you should know the 5 minor pentatonic fingers. There's a bunch of them. There's only 5 of them, excuse me. In every key, of course. Do an extra note at the end there. The next scale you should know over an F dominant 7th is the blues scale actually, which is. I just put an extra note in there. I put the flat 5 with a sharp 4. That note. play. Okay, so those are just 3 scales already that you should actually know. This is just on the first chord. And we're probably just going to cover the first chord today, because I'm going to make this a short video. The next scale I like to use, so remember jazz musicians like to reharmonize. So the next scale I like to use is the Lydian dominant, which is actually the dominant 7th scale, and it's actually like a Lydian scale this time. Raise 4, okay, or flat 5 you want to go, with a flat 7, or they call it dominant 7th sharp 4. There's a few names for this scale, I can't think of them offhand. It comes from actually the melodic minor. So the melodic minor here is a C melodic minor, but you're starting on the F. So you should know how to play all your modes and melodic minor modes and reharmonizations from the root that you're actually on, and because you don't want to think twice about playing like a C melodic minor, but you're playing over F, because then you don't have enough time when you're actually improvising. So you should be able to play this all over the fingerboard, and think about this. Okay, on the F chord. So that's another thing I like to do. That's based on F7 with a sharp 11, okay, and a 9, and I'm playing. You can play it like this. There's so many ways you can voice that chord. Flat 5 chords, okay, etc. Another basic reharmonization I like to use too is taking the chord and making it altered. So that was a natural kind of alteration, one note alteration, okay, but now we're going to alter it to a flat 9, okay, or sharp 9, and sharp 11 or flat 13. Okay, so those are the different types of F dominant 7th reharmonizations. Now, if I want to play over that chord like that, okay, I could use an F, okay, Superloquian scale, or the altered scale they call it, okay. Now that's based on the melodic minor, okay. That's another mode that you need to get into if you don't know it already. Okay, and the melodic minor is actually, this melodic minor particularly is the F sharp melodic minor, and you start on the 7th degree, which is actually F in this case. Then you go up the rest of the scale. Now, if I play from the F sharp, it sounds like this. You hear the melodic minor? Now, the melodic minor is actually a major scale with a flatted 3. So that's our F sharp major scale. I lowered the 3rd. Now, in classical music, they raise, they go up in natural. And they lower the notes, but in jazz, we keep it all raised in the melodic minor, up and down, because they call that the real melodic minor, or they call it jazz melodic minor. So that's a great scale to know. You have to know that scale everywhere. So if you're playing altered, you could do that. Now make sure you can play this all over You can get some cool arpeggios and all kinds of things like that. We can get to altered all day long and talk about that. I like that scale a lot. Okay. Another fancy scale you can actually use on this is this is getting into the harmonic minor, okay, is the Phrygian dominant scale, okay. Now, you hear a lot of jazz musicians use this. I studied with Barry Harris, and I've been taking his class for years, and he likes to use this a lot. So when you're doing a 5/7, okay, like an F7 going to the target chord, which could be in this case is a B flat. It's a 5/7 and a B flat. Now at the target chord, you could actually use a harmonic minor scale, and so in this case, it's going to be a B flat harmonic minor, but starting on the F. Okay, and that's called a Phrygian dominant. Phrygian scale, and then it becomes a dominant scale the rest. Okay? Now, here's the thing. When I'm playing over this to go the F7 to the B flat, it could be actually either to a B flat dominant or B flat, any kind of B flat major chord or a minor chord. So you usually hear that in minor too. I went to minor, but you can also go to dominant or major. So they both work, okay? So that's a really fancy scale. So that's the harmonic minor going now to the, this is going to the B flat harmonic minor. Now the last harmonic minor mode that's really fancy, that's based on altered as well, okay, is the Superloquian double flat 7. So this is really a complicated scale. So this is the 7th degree of the harmonic minor. So if you're playing F7, you're going to start the harmonic minor on the F and go up the harmonic minor scale from the F sharp and on the F. So here's the F sharp harmonic minor. We're going to start on the F this time. So that's a really fancy scale. So make sure you practice this all over the finger. I gotta work on it too. So that's the Superloquian double flat 7, which is the actual 7th degree of the harmonic minor, starting on this chord, okay, the F7 targeting the B flat. So you're making the F7 to an altered scale. Now, there's a couple scales I forgot. We're going to end up with those scales. You can also use, I forgot this in the beginning actually, before we keep going. I think of also the dominant 7th chord, the regular dominant, F7. I usually think of that scale also with a related 2, okay? So which is C minor to an F7, so you can actually make a 2-5 progression or 2-5 lick over the C, over the F7. Okay. And another scale I forgot to mention too is that you can actually play the F dominant bebop scale. So which is actually F7 scale. Now between the flat 7 and the 1, you put a passing tone. So between the flat 7 and the 1, so in this case it's E flat, and actually you put a passing tone. It's not a tension. So you can descend, okay, or go up. Okay, so those are a couple scales I forgot to mention earlier. Those are more of the basic scales. Now the last two I want to talk about, you can use actually a whole tone scale on this. You get the flat 7, so you can play. I like whole tone patterns because they're symmetrical. Play them all over the neck, like all your scales. You should be playing this all over the neck. Okay. Now the last scale, other than the whole tone, remember, is a symmetric scale. It's a 6-note scale. Is a diminished, which is actually an 8-note scale, symmetrical scale. Now usually you go from the root. Okay, and you go half step, okay, and that makes a diminished lick. You should be able to play different fingering of this diminished scale. Be able to play it across the neck all over, and also you should be able to do diminished patterns. Now, when you play the diminished, it's not quite an altered scale. It becomes a F dominant 7th scale, okay, with a natural 13, not a flat 13. Okay, so it would be a sharp 9, flat 9 with a natural 13. Now you still have the flat 5 in there, but a natural 13. Now what's really cool about diminished is that you could actually play different patterns. I love playing diminished patterns like this. Or this one. That's a John Coltrane diminished pattern that, you know, from Momus O's, I think. That's a classic pattern. There's all kinds of diminished. It's hard to remember all these scales. There's so many of them. So I just play. I did at least 10 scales for you today that you should know just over an F7 chord in a blues. So this is my impromptu series about different kinds of improvisational techniques, scales, etc. And today we went over the F blues just on the F dominant 7th scale, and you learned different modes from the melodic, harmonic, and you know, regular. Those are the minor scales, and from the regular major scale modes, okay, and also symmetrical scales like diminished and whole tone, the blues, the bebop dominant scale. So those are all kinds of scales you can use just on F7. So if you have any questions, please email me at ronjacksonmusic@gmail.com. And thank you for watching my new series on impromptu series on just improvisation or anything basically that has to do with jazz or music or guitars. And thank you for watching my YouTube channel. This is Ron Jackson, and my YouTube channel is Ron Jackson Music. Please follow me and subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.